like I said, it happens, and hopefully some kids can learn from it, but just don't get caught.
I'm down to dunk.
And I'm down to dunk.
I'm down to dunk.
This is J-Dub, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Shea Gilgeous-Alexander, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lindy Waters, and I'm down to dunk.
I'm Mike Muscala, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Jay Will, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Kenrich Williams, and I'm down to dunk.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to dunk.
We say this is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
This is Lou Dort, and I'm down to Dort.
Cracklin Oat Bran?
Have you had Cracklin Oat Bran?
No,
No. Okay.
but it's healthy.
You're a big oat brand guy?
I'm a big Oat Bran guy.
Okay.
I think I would switch it with Fruity Pebbles.
Okay, eat faster. Don't put as much in the bowl.
If you have a gallon of milk, I can also take home.
You don't have milk at home?
One cinnamon toast.
Okay.
Crunch.
Yeah, cereal is great. Yeah.
Welcome to Down to Dunk. I'm your host, Andrew Schlecht. We're part of the Athletic Podcast Network. With me, as always, on Mondays is my good friend, Michele Berra. Michele, what's up?
It's Mitch. It's season. It's good to be back. It's good to be to dream about it, to think about it, to come up empty with everything. It's that kind of season.
Yeah, it is definitely something we're going to talk about. Is it definitely something that's going to happen? Probably not, but we're going to get ourselves all up and excited about it again. It's just that time of year where Vasilij Micic, if you haven't heard, so there was a report today. So if you aren't on Twitter, we have people that aren't on Twitter that listen to the pod.
Really?
A reporter, a reporter,
Okay.
Aris Barkas. Am I saying that right? Barkas?
I don't know.
Anyways, he says Vasilij Micic has traveled to Oklahoma City per hashtag Eurohoops sources, with the Thunder having his rights. Talks about a possible deal can start this week after the hashtag NBA draft. So I don't know if he's in Oklahoma City. I don't know if this is actually going down right now. I can speculate reasons why this could not be true and also reported is maybe he wants a new long-term deal with Ephes, and this is if they see that he is quote-unquote in Oklahoma City, perhaps that encourages them to pull the trigger on something that he wants over there. Or
That
perhaps he
seems like
is.
a good leverage play.
Yeah, but perhaps he is here. Maybe he is in Oklahoma City.
Maybe he's here. Well, there.
Yeah.
And he's also putting in a huge leverage play on both sides. Like,
Yeah.
when you can play
True.
both sides, I know what's the term on blackjack when you have to, you just double. I don't remember. Well, anyway, I'm not a gambler, but neither are you. I know that. Someone can tell us in the chat. But anyway, if he can, like, say to OKC, hey, there is if you pay me enough, I might come next season because you are decently competitive and I think I can fit. Like, quote unquote, he actually fits extremely well with OKC.
Well.
And on top, like, he can play NS. I'm just okay. Sorry.
Inner's coming
FS.
back too. You heard it here
FS.
first, everybody.
Yeah. Saying, okay, I'm here because I want an offer and you have to beat that. So it's the perfect situation. I mean, last year was, let's like pretend to talk with OKC. This time around, maybe he has to go a little bit farther for FS to believe in.
Yeah. No, and I mean, Ball Punyon says that he hired a new agent in March. He did. He's part of the Wasserman Group now. Same with Shea, same with Dort. The reason why we don't have the Down to Dort shirts, Wasserman. Thanks a lot, Wasserman. So he's joined that group. And whether that, it doesn't necessarily mean anything. The Thunder have good relationships with almost like every agency,
Yeah.
And so it's not like, well, now that he's with this agency, they can actually, I don't know. Here's what it comes down to. Is Mičić comfortable with coming off the bench for a good team?
Whoa. Are you sure about that?
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, 100%. Sure.
He's 6'6/6'7", and he's actually good on both ends.
That's why you need him as your backup point guard. Like, is he willing to be your backup point guard? So here's some things that were said that he would need in order to come over. A salary around 6 to 7 million per year. Easily done.
Doable.
Check. Very easy. A starting spot or at least starter type minutes.
That can be arranged. Come on.
And a role with a contending team. I guess my question to you, Michele, is this. Is he worth it? Is he worth it?
What, 6, 7 millions?
And giving him a starting type role on the team.
28 minutes? We're talking about that?
Yeah, sure.
Why not? Like, what's the... It really depends on what kind of guy you draft and what kind of priorities you want to set for the guys that you're actually drafting. It's clearly, if you have a guy like that, then suddenly your guard rotation / wing rotation is much more tighter because that guy is good.
You're set. It's Shea, Dort, Giddey. J-Dub's going to play some guard.
Yeah, very little, but yeah.
Kobe Buffkin.
No, that's the point. That's the point.
I was kidding about the Buffkin thing.
No, but if you draft like a guard, then the minutes for that guard will be very little. Which is one of the issues in drafting Mičić, in getting Mičić on board this year. But if you want to play in a super competitive environment and having these new guys like earning the minutes, you can find place for a guy like Mičić. You will absolutely rework a little bit on the total minutes. But is it bad to play Shea 32 minutes and Dort 29 minutes? Like, is this terrible? Well, Shea maybe is a little bit low. You can say 34, 35. Same for Giddey. Same for Dub. Maybe a little bit less. You have those minutes. You can play like a Mičić in probably 3 spots. It's extremely versatile. Now, it's a bit early for that. Yeah, probably so. You can wait a year in order to have like a better idea on what kind of players you have really on your roster. And I was like against getting a guy on the draft that is basically taking away development minutes from J-Dub, and Mičić will absolutely do that. But he will give the team a different kind of rotation. Like if he comes over, like the rotation on guard's wing is really, really good. You don't have like weak spots. You can play like a lot of very, very interesting backcourt rotations.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when healthy, it would be like no minutes for Trey Mann, no minutes for Lindy Waters, no minutes in some games, maybe very few minutes for Isaiah Joe, and like Aaron Wiggins minutes gone. Because if you're going to play him 28 minutes a game, that's going to take up a huge, huge spot. And you are also not going to have the small ball minutes to play around with that you did before now that you have Chet. And so...
Why is that, though? Well, yes, of course. Yes. Sorry.
Yeah. Just because Chet's going to play a lot of minutes.
Yeah.
And so now it squeezes everything, not in a bad way, but in a way that exploring the roster, quote unquote. I guess my question is, would Micic come over here and be okay with them exploring the roster while he's on it?
That is a good question.
Hey, against Indiana, Vasily, you're
You
gonna
don't play.
You're gonna sit down.
No, I don't think that is probably a good option for a guy like Micic. He really wants to play and play meaningful minutes for a team that is after something.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not sure that he will be like not happy with a team that wins 44 games.
Yeah.
Like I think and I think that OKC has that chance if they have Chet healthy and if they bring in Micic. They will be, I think, steadily in the playoff conversation. Is that enough? Probably so. The point is Dignault and Presti okay with stopping the let's play Usman Jang at the point guard for 20 minutes tonight? Like these sort of things. And naturally, there will be a time when this happens, when you have too many guys and you just have to just stop experimenting and trying to give little moments for development. Those will be available. I mean, there will be games where Shea doesn't play. I think that having Micic will actually mean that OKC will be better rested by the end of the season because you have so many guys that can actually handle that. You don't really need to squeeze Shea or to squeeze Giddey for the entire season and play them like 35 every single night.
Yeah. So I think that that's a possibility because Micic plays the style of basketball that the Thunder want to play. That he plays the brand of this rhythmic basketball and could fit right in, and I think would help quite a bit. And it's like a veteran presence that would probably help. Now, there's also the possibility that they're bringing him in, checking on his desire to fill that role. If he says that's not really something that I would want. However, I want to be in the NBA next year. Where else can we go? I think that becomes the discussion. And like my thought immediately goes to Dallas. To Dallas, where they're in search of somebody to help now. Check. They are willing to trade pick 10. Now, I don't think you get pick 10 for Micic. I think it would probably be, I think this is where it could be interesting, is that you could probably trade a future first and Micic for pick 10. I think
Does that help you?
If you get 10 and 12?
For
the
like
Thunder?
that?
For the Thunder?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you can get two players that are, I think you could probably do something similar that you did last year, where you can probably draft, if the Thunder really are interested in Koulibaly, you could draft him with one of those spots and then draft somebody else that's more ready to play, like Buffkin or Kaysen, or maybe they do like Derek Lively or, whoever.
Then don't you have the exact same issue? Like of minutes shrunk anyway.
Oh, the minutes issue is going to be a thing no matter what, I think.
And then I would actually be okay. Like if Buffkin is not there, I would be comfortable in saying, okay, at 12, or we just draft whatever project we have, because next year Micic will come and play, and this guy will spend a lot of time either. Like they can stash Koulibaly. I mean, this is something that OKC doesn't do, and I would be very surprised if they actually go this route. But it's not impossible to think, hey, what about playing in the EuroLeague next season? This is not like a terrible way to develop a guy. Now you want to have like the prospect here as soon as possible.
They want him here. Yeah. I mean, for crying out loud, Vít Krejci was here trying to get healthy under their watchful eye, So I just have a hard time believing that they would say, hey, Bilal, go do your thing for a year. We'll send a scout over every month or so to see how you're doing. I don't know. I mean, when was the last time that they've let somebody stay stashed over there?
Yeah, never. I mean, the EuroLeague to me is a great league, but even when you play like meaningful minutes there, it's not necessarily true that you come back as a better player.
Yeah.
Necessarily. If they trust the development structure, and Metropolitan seems to make a good work with prospects. I mean, he improved quite a lot from the beginning of the year to the end of the year.
Yeah.
So you never know. And I was saying, like, if it's not buffing or a guy that you are really, really high, does that really help you? Is it just like, yeah, maybe Micic is not exactly what we need, so we need to gamble a first-round pick in the future?
It would have to be that, like, Micic. I would, just to be clear, I mean, there's risks as far as like contract control with Micic, and like how long is a deal really going to be for him, and is he even going to want to stay for the next 5 years in the NBA?
Yeah.
I think it's like
What's
real
the minimum
question
for you.
It's a real question.
Like 3 years enough for you?
Yeah, 3 years with like a team option on the third year. And then like if he wants to be gone, the team would probably do him a solid.
Yeah.
You know, that's what I would do. It's like a 2+1 with a team option on year 3.
Oh, okay.
So, but I would want him to stick around longer because let's say you do get 10 and 12 and you can draft Bufkin and Bilal. Like you have Bufkin for 4 years plus an extension if he's good.
Yeah.
You have Bilal for 4 years plus an extension if he's any good.
Yeah.
And I just think if Micic plays and he's good and he plays for 2 years and he was like, yeah, that was cool. I'll see you guys later. I don't want to be a bench player on a team anymore. I want to go back and start and live on the beach and whatever. And then you're taking away a big piece from the team. Now, maybe somebody else is ready to move into that spot and it's no big deal.
Yeah.
But also you find yourself in just in a place where I think that you could stunt your overall growth by bringing in a 29-year-old, who also just like frankly doesn't quite fit the vibes of the team altogether. And you're going to have to bring in somebody like that eventually.
Mm-hmm.
And not that I don't know him at all or his personality at all. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but just the thought of like bringing in a 30-year-old. 30-year-olds are just different than 22-year-old guys, and so I just wonder.
Different priority, but there are like 29 years old. Maybe he will be BFF with Kenrich.
Yeah, could be. And it may work great, but I just wonder about like the possibility of it being like a short-term thing with him.
Oh, the like it can be that way for sure.
And then like, what do the Thunder do? Like, are they really competing?
But it's like, to me, it's such a low risk. Like, can Micic destroy or delay? Like, if it's delay in the worst case scenario, who cares? Like, it doesn't cost you anything, really. And this is, to me, it's the point. Like, it doesn't cost you a dime. Well, it costs you like 8 million, but those are money that you probably spend anyway. You may have him 1 year. He doesn't want to stick around. You have a 3-year deal. You can get value in year 2. Just, okay, this is not our path. We tried. Like, things are not working okay. Even in January, you can say, well, we tried. Now you have the Phoenix Suns that gave us, I don't know, that gave Jock Landale 8 million. We can get him, and you can go there and just play. You can, like, it can be a play for like another asset down the line if it doesn't work for you. Micic is good, period. If he wants to come over and just start with you because you can give him the best deal in terms of money, it can be a deal where, hey, I play 1 year. If we are good, great. If not, then you ship me somewhere else. And this is something that makes total sense with OKC financial situation. Instead of getting Bertans or getting a contract that you're not necessarily happy with, just draft Micic, play him 1 year, let him compete with other guys. If other guys are just so much better than him, who cares? Like
Yeah.
it's no money whatsoever. He can just move on and or go to playing with Luca or stuff like that later. Even if you don't get, yeah, he's better than Gabby Deck.
Shanae in the chat says, "Is he better than Gabby Deck?" Yes, he's like a real basketball player.
Yeah,
Gabby Deck was like obviously like a good European player, but like he just did not have any like great NBA skills. He was aggressive. He's strong. It was one
Mičić is EuroLeague MVP. Like we're talking about different kind of players,
and like can play with the ball in his hands, can shoot, can pass, like can do all the things. He's not a good rebounder at all.
Yeah,
but beyond that, like he does everything else that you'd want somebody to do.
Yeah, but in Europe, rebounding doesn't really work like in the US. The space on the court is shrunk. So as a guard, you play with more traditional lineups. It's not really conducive to say, hey, Mitch is a terrible rebounder. It's more like, hey, he playmaker in Europe waits for the ball and the big man who catches it and pass it. It's way more that kind of things. I'm interested though in what Mighty Iron says on the chat. Indiana not interested in the trade. Now, I'm not sure that Indiana is actually looking for a trade there, but I wonder what Mičić, 12, and maybe another first can get you. I'm not sure that Detroit is a team that really wants to make a trade like that, nor Indiana. Orlando seems, again, same ballpark. They are not interested. But if one of these teams is actually interested in a trade like that, then I would actually think about it real hard.
Yeah. I have a hard time believing that they would want to.
Yeah, me too. It's maybe dropping from 7 to 12 for an additional first and a guy that you really like. It's something that you do. But getting at 5, 6, it seems like a reach.
Yeah.
To me, 10 is really like almost no point. Like one first and Mičić to just, I don't know. It depends on the first.
Yeah. I just color me skeptical.
Yeah.
That they could do like that. Mičić is that valuable, to a team even like Indy. And does he want to go to Indiana?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah, I don't know that that's a team where he's like, hey, get me to a better situation. It's like Indiana. Well, no, like Indiana's not going to be great next year.
Yeah.
They'll be middle of the pack at best. I mean, to me, it's can they get I think that we need to stop thinking about maybe up in the draft because there's not really a situation that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Utah, Washington, Pacers, Orlando, Detroit. No.
No.
The only reason that I think about 10 is that that's just a situation that makes sense where he could play next to Luka.
Yeah.
Play a big chunk of minutes. That makes some sense. But then I think we need to look down.
Mm-hmm.
Like Lakers, Heat. He'd be great for the Warriors. He'd be great for Jalen Williams in the chat says Sacramento. Yes.
And that is why, to me, you don't do those trades. Like, why? Those are teams where you're competing against next season. Like, why are you giving him a player? Like, if he fits in every team that you just mentioned, like Sacramento, Denver, Lakers, because he's a player that fits everywhere on a winning team, then why not OKC? Like, if he doesn't want to be in OKC and the only reason why he's in OKC is says, okay, I want a contract, but I want to go there, then yeah, of course, you try to do it anyway.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would be curious to see because I think you can get somebody, especially if you can get to like 17 or 18. I think there's going to be a good player left on the board there that you can take. and you throw them in the mix. I know that Thunder don't have the roster spots. I just don't think that we should care about roster spots, frankly.
Mm-hmm.
The Thunder did not care about roster spots last year as much as we did.
Yeah.
And they've found a way to move it. Now, I wonder if Leonard Miller's there at 18 and Miami's like, hey, we would rather have Mitchich for the next few years to play with Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
He'd probably be awesome there. He'd probably be amazing. And he gets to live in Miami.
Yeah.
He might be more willing to do something like that.
So the trade is basically 18 and Oladipo for Michich.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, James Henderson on the chat is saying as much, like getting a bad contract plus a peak in the teens for Michich.
You could even just say, hey, as a part of this deal, you could say, hey, we'll take back Duncan Robinson in 18. You give us, and we'll give you Michich in a sign and trade.
Mm-hmm.
And as a part of the deal, you unprotect your pick. And it also that helps you to be able to move more future first.
Yeah. It's not bad.
And like a part of like unprotecting the pick is like you could parse it out like, hey, you're getting it's Michich for 18, and then it's taking on Robinson's contract for unprotecting the pick.
Yeah.
And so you get a player that helps you now. And you get cap flexibility, or I guess cap relief for them.
Yeah, they will generate a trade exception or something like that.
Oh, yeah, they generate a big trade exception. And yeah, I mean, to me, something like that makes some sense, which probably means it would never happen. But
yeah,
that would be great. And again, similar to the way that I felt about Bertans, like you better believe that Duncan Robinson is helping the Thunder out next year as far as like a big floor spacer on the wing.
Yeah.
That comes in. He probably soaks up minutes that would have gone to guys like Aaron Wiggins and to guys like Lindy Waters.
Yeah.
And he comes in and he's just, I would just bet he's going to be lights out for Oklahoma City. So, I mean, I just think that something like that makes sense where you are taking on money in order to steer things favorably for yourself, and then using an asset in Michich that maybe doesn't want to come to Oklahoma City and turning it into something that's more in favor for you. And maybe you make a pick at 18 or you don't. Maybe they take 18 and they flip it over to somebody else and say like, hey, Lakers, how about you pick at 17 and 18? And then you give us something down the road.
Yeah.
You know, or say that to the Warriors. Hey, Warriors, you need cheap contracts. Like, could you take on, you want to, do you want this? Give us something later.
Yeah, like they did with Denver.
Yeah. So the thing is, like, the Thunder have and this is illustrated by everything we've been talking about. They can go in so many different directions this summer. They can add players right now that can help, like a Michich. They can kick assets down the road to get very valuable picks in the future that will help them when all these guys are in their prime. They can take 2 guys in the draft. They can take 3. They can take 1. There are almost limitless possibilities at the hands of the Thunder because they have cap flexibility. They have so many future picks. They're not afraid of acquiring more picks right now rather than getting players, or they can trade the picks that they have right now to go get a player they really want. They have a ton of options, which I think makes the draft really exciting for them, is that they can look at every situation and don't have to say, hey, we've been backed into a corner. We have to get somebody that can play right now. Like, I think the Lakers have to get somebody that can play in this draft. I think the Warriors have to get somebody that can play. The Trailblazers, not only at 3, but at 23. Boy, they better pick somebody that can play. If they really are going to keep Dame and try to move this along, you can't bring in a project. So it's with the Thunder, there's no pressure. Like, they could bring in another project. They could bring in 2 projects. They could do whatever they can do whatever they want. anything they think will help propel this team in the future, they can do it. And if they want to push buttons to win now, great. I don't anticipate that happening, but it's there on the table.
Yeah, and to be clear, Mitch is not pushing a button. That is, a button doesn't cost anything. Like, I think that when we think about pushing the button, it's actually saying, okay, let's put some chips in. Here, OKC is not putting any chip in. If Mitch wants to stay, to count, say, okay, just give me a 4 year straight. I'm happy to be here. I look forward to play for this coach, which I really like. This organization is top class. I just want to give it a real try. Just give me the contract you want. Okay. I mean, this is not pushing any button at all. Like, it's basically getting another Kenrich type of guy, maybe not the same defender, but surely a guy that has experience, that can share a lot of experience on how to win really high level basketball games. And if he wants to be that for OKC, hey, sign me up.
Yeah.
It's if OKC suddenly goes into the Beal sweepstakes, which is clearly didn't happen, that is pushing a button that I don't expect them to push.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, definitely. Yeah. Mičić, I could see a world where he plays for the Thunder next year.
Yeah.
Do I predict it's going to happen? I don't, because we've been down this road before.
Yeah.
My guess, and just to have wasted 31 minutes and 35 seconds of your life, is that he is going to go back to Ephes on a bigger deal and be awesome in the EuroLeague again next year.
Yeah.
But talking about him is really fun. Okay, let's take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about the draft and rumors and trades and all the madness that's happening this week. We'll be right back. And we're back after that quick break. Michele, the draft is Thursday.
Wow.
It's very exciting. And to celebrate the draft, we are having a draft party downtown at Fassler Hall. Be there at 6:00. We are partnering with Lively Beer Works, and we're making these just beautiful down to dunk glasses that you can get. They're very, very limited supply, so get there early if you want one of these. And then also we're selling shirts there. So Taylor's going to set up a little shop, and you can buy a down to dunk shirt. You could leave there with a down to dunk shirt and a glass, and having made new friends that also love the Thunder. So please go to Fassler Hall, 6:00 on Thursday night. It's going to be a blast. So be there. So currently the Thunder only own 12 and pick 50. And, you know, whether or not they keep pick 50, I don't know. I don't know if there's going to be a player that helps them there or not. Maybe they take Imani Bates and, you know, just let him just light up the G League for his career. But at pick 12, let's just say they stay there. They stay at 12. They try to trade up. Nothing's there. Mičić doesn't come over. It's just
it's a sad scenario.
Just pick 12.
Yeah.
Who do you like? Who would you give me one player that you'd be really happy with and another one that you would not be so happy with?
I would be really happy with two guys. My boy, Kobe Buffkin.
Yeah, Buffkin boys.
Grady Dick. I think that both are actually picked that can be available for OKC there. Probably 3 weeks ago, I would have said, okay, Buffkin is likely to be there because there is no way. Probably now it's so, maybe flip-flop. I don't know. I think that there are people who likes Buffkin. I mean, he's skyrocketing draft boards and whatnot. So it's not a given that he's going to be there. Either of those two will make me extremely happy. Not happy. Probably Leonard Miller.
You'd be not happy with Leonard Miller?
No, not necessarily happy. I would be lukewarm. I'm not convinced that he fits immediately. I'm not convinced that he is a player that will gel with what OKC has. He doesn't project to be a great shooter. So either someone really had like an amazing, like witnessed an amazing workout where he just hit, I don't know, 95 threes in a row or something like that, where you can really trust his shot, or I would not be super duper happy. Ruper is another guy that's okay, I
That
guess.
feels very unlikely at this point, but also that's only just because of the way that draft Twitter and mock drafts have repositioned him, not necessarily something that I think.
Is he in Grim Room or not?
I don't think so. No.
Yeah, that's.
I would be so surprised if he was.
Yeah, me
drafted
too.
Even in the teens at this point.
Yeah. Koulibaly, would it be happy? No. Would it be destroyed by that? No. I don't know enough, to be honest with you. I mean, I tried to watch. I tried to get an idea in my head. To me, he is a wing for sure. If he's able to shoot it at a high level with that tools defensively, with that size, then yeah, he can be a great pick going forward. But if he's not going to shoot it, then it's really hard.
Yeah. I don't know if Buffkin's going to be there. I think there's a chance that he goes as high as 8.
Yeah.
To Washington. I think that's a pretty favorable situation for him. And if I were him, I'd be pushing myself to that situation because I think he'd play right away. He would get a lot of shots.
Especially now.
Oh,
let's go.
Hey, let me be your Teo Maladone, please. And
or Cole Anthony or whatever.
I mean, the thing is, he would probably look awesome in that situation just because he can do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, he's awesome. I think he can play point guard and be the man for a bad team. And I think that Sam mentioned that into your, like with you, either was on his podcast or on Sam and Jam about rumblings of Washington really like him. So it's, if this is mutual, hey, happy for him. Definitely, I would pick him before a lot of guys that are mocked in the top 10 right now. So I would be completely okay in drafting him at 8.
Yeah, if he goes, that's the thing that's interesting. It's like with he and Koulibaly rising up boards, if he went 8 and Koulibaly went 11, that would mean one of Grady Dick, Anthony Black, Taylor Hendricks, Asar Thompson is probably there at 12.
Yeah. Hendricks would, I think that to me is unlikely to be there. Extremely unlikely. I would be very surprised if he's there.
Would you be more surprised about him or Anthony Black being there?
Probably him.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I think that I would put him.
Anthony Black doesn't go 8th.
Yeah, there was a
doesn't go 9th.
Chance that he's there.
He's probably there at 12.
Yeah. And again, we don't know who picks at 10. Because to me, Koulibaly makes sense at 11. I think that Hendricks makes a ton of sense, both at 9 and 10. Maybe more at 10 if Dallas stays there. And then
you feel confident Hendricks is playing right away on a team that is like pressured to win, like the Mavericks.
He plays. Yeah. I think that he's the player that fits best with a guy like Luka. He projects like a better version of Kleba, a guy that shoots better than Kleba, and he's probably a little bit coarser, like more coarse defensively than Kleba at the beginning. But he's a guy that you can absolutely see playing with Luka and having success because you can just like pick and pop, move to the corner, block shots. I think he can play 20 minutes for Dallas next year.
Yeah. I just would worry. And the Thunder, I think, would be fine drafting somebody like that where it's going to take some time for him to kind of mesh into the NBA. I just think a big meshing into the NBA defensively is tough. It's rare that they just make an impact right away. It's like that's just why I would wonder about Dallas taking him, because he's still he's pretty young.
Yeah, but if you're at 10, do you really prefer Anthony Black with Dallas?
I'm not saying I would.
Yeah, to me, it's
Anthony Black is younger than
yeah, for sure. He would fit. He would take a lot, alleviate a lot on defense. Yeah, he makes sense as well. I think that with Luka being there, the best recipe to easy success is, hey, surround that guy with shooting. But we also seen that having ball handlers with Luka is actually a good choice. So maybe they go that route and say, okay, we have Anthony Black. He doesn't shoot. Who cares? We just play him as a ball handler, initiate a lot of offense, and then allow him to be a screener for Luka. He will be good enough on the corners where, will be okay. That is also something that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't disagree. I just think the Mavericks are probably more likely to just trade out than get somebody that can help them right now, because they have just screwed this up so bad.
Yep,
they have messed everything up so badly. Low key, one of the worst run organizations right now in the NBA, Dallas.
It looks like Anthony Davis in New Orleans without the injuries, failing to construct anything that is sustainable alongside one of your best players, one of the best players of his time. So,
and a guy that has more value than AD did. They made the conference finals, and have screwed everything up. So I would expect them to use this pick to find talent that helps them now, which will probably hurt them in the future and help somebody else in the future. Just a complete disaster. Yeah, as far as players linked to the Thunder, it's vast. There are a lot of players linked to the Thunder right now and I think that it definitely puts people in a spot where people just don't really know what the Thunder want to do. And which is not surprising. That's just the way that they do business. I've heard Hawkins and Koulibaly, and I've heard Anthony Black. I've heard Leonard Miller. I've heard Bufkin. I've heard all of those names mentioned as guys that could be taken at 12 for OKC. So it's definitely up in the air, it was always going to be. And truthfully, with this Mitchich thing, if he is here, then perhaps that's part of their decision making. Is if we can actually get him to come over here, maybe we don't need to take another guard. Maybe we can take a swing at Bilal. Maybe we can draft Leonard Miller at 12 and develop him slowly and bring him along. And we like his fit next to Chet with his versatility and his, potential to be an elite rebounder and a guy that can grab the ball at the rim and push. And we think that his, shooting is not great, but maybe we think we can improve it. There's definitely different possibilities there. Players that I would not be particularly excited about, like Jalen Hood-Schifino, who is...
Oh, yeah. No, those players, I just removed them.
Continues to rise up draft boards. I see him at 13 a lot.
Yeah.
Just a little.
Do you see Toronto being aggressive with that 10th pick?
Possibly.
That team has a lot to trade with Dallas if they care to do so. It's too rich. To draft Anunoby to swap Anunoby for the 10th pick. I think that you need something else, but not too much. I don't know the value of Siakam around the league. I'm not sure what if Dallas needs to do a sign and trade with Toronto for Fred VanVleet. maybe that is the deal. Well, you just go from 13 to 10, and the only thing that you can do is the only thing that you have to do is, hey, we get some player back like Bertans, and we agree to do a sign and trade.
Yeah,
something like that. I mean, Toronto can really use that if they feel that both Orlando and OKC are interested in Koulibaly and they are really into him. That is a trade that can easily materialize.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Where are you at on Koulibaly? What would you feel on the inside?
I would just feel the unknown. Like it's similar to what, well, with Jeng, I actually felt bad because I really wanted AJ. If Dick is there, I would feel close to the same. But I would understand more because I got used to like not drafting shooters because we think we can get them fairly late or for nothing. If Kid is not there, if Dick is not there, if Bafkin is not there, and you have a Sar Thompson, or to me, Sar Thompson and Koulibaly have the same kind of ceiling and issue, and so it's not really different for me.
Asar's
it depends on who's
passer.
Sure. But he also played in a league that we don't know how to parse. And Koulibaly played like real European,
competitive tournaments against men and not against. I mean, it just felt like they were trying to make a video game, you know.
Yeah.
And it
do you remember Slam Ball?
Yeah.
Was it a thing?
Oh yeah, I think it's coming back. In fact,
really?
Pretty sure.
Do you know who Dan Peterson is?
No.
He is the first American coach came to Italy. He brought over Mike D'Antoni and Bob McAdoo. He was that coach. He was basically Mike D'Antoni's first and most important coach in Italy. He won everything.
Kobe Bryant's dad played with them or played for them?
Not the same team, I would say. But I have to check it. It is possible that he played a season or so.
Yeah.
He was this why I was talking about Dan Peterson.
Don't know. Slam Ball.
Yeah, Slam Ball. He was actually the color commentator for that.
Slam Ball, Sar Thompson. Overtime lead is weird. Okay.
Yeah. It was weird, like really weird to hear him talking in this Italian American language with this thick accent about these guys who were just flying around. It was clearly too old to do that. But anyway,
that's awesome.
Overtime lead seemed that.
Yeah, it does. And we did this exercise on Slam and Jam. If you haven't listened to it yet, you should go listen to it, or really you should just go watch it on YouTube. Search the Athletic NBA show. But the same exercise that Alex and I did last Wednesday, we did with Vicini for the Saturday show, and it was very interesting. And we both had a SAR as somebody that could be out of the league. So I don't know. That's just a prediction, just a wild guesstimate. Maybe he's amazing. Maybe he's better than Anthony Black and all these other guys. Who knows? I am getting messages from people confirming that Mitchich is in Oklahoma City. So take it for what it's worth.
That is good to hear. So
if he is in fact here, which I'm not sure why so many people would be trying to lead me astray. But if that's true, then perhaps there is something real happening there. Because I don't think he's traveled here before.
It was not reported. Let's put it this way. Nobody wanted for that news to come out. Now someone wants for that news to come out.
Yeah. Interesting. Yeah, there's a reason. There's always, whenever there's a leak like that, you have to ask yourself the question, why? Why? Yeah. What's the reason here? Sometimes it
why
is.
And
just,
who, especially.
Yeah. So it's very interesting. Okay, what player would you be most confused about if the Thunder traded up for them?
This may sound very weird, but I would be very confused if they trade up for Grady Dick.
Okay.
I would be extremely confused. Like you're not drafting shooters, and now you're actually paying to do that. That would be. I would be very excited, and also very confused. Does
Yeah.
that make any sense?
Yeah, it actually does. Especially since he feels like somebody that could be there at 12 potentially.
Yeah.
Um,
Also,
But yeah, that would be an interesting one. I think Cam Whitmore would be the one I'd be most confused about.
yeah, I would be extremely confused about that as well. Yeah,
Just
super
because-
confused.
Doesn't quite fit, but also I would be pumped and jacked as well.
Really?
Because if the Thunder believe that Cam Whitmore can play on this team,
Mm-hmm.
they think he can be a star. And he can come in and get buckets and
Yeah.
be the guy that finally teaches Giddey how to throw a lob because he's going up for these crazy alley-oops.
Oh, Chet will do that just fine.
Yeah, Chet just has more of like a catch radius just because he's so giant.
Yeah.
Compared to this 6'6" Whitmore, who's just going to fly through the air. Yeah, I would be a little confused about him. Let's see. I wouldn't be I mean, I guess I wouldn't be necessarily confused. I think that it would just mean that they were more willing to take play finishers, but I would still be a little confused about them coming away with Taylor Hendricks.
Yeah.
And not in the bad way at all. Not like, oh my gosh, what are they doing? It'd be like, whoa, okay, wow. They actually went for it. They went for a player that's going to shoot the basketball, who's 6'9", 6'10", and can be a shot blocker and play, switch around defensively. That's great, but is not going to handle the ball, is not going to grab the ball off the rim and push, is not going to be somebody that plays more rhythmically. But
yeah, that part. Sorry for interrupting you. I think that part we can say that we did not see that. I'm not sure we can say that those guys are not able to. I mean, I go back to Trey Murphy and the fact that no, Trey Murphy cannot handle. He's a guy that can't create for himself, blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying that everyone has the same career path, but it's possible that we're actually underselling some of Anderson's ability to create, mainly because he wasn't asked to do so. Now, he throws some wild passes, and he's not always, is rarely on point with the pass. But I would actually give him like a little bit of doubt. Say, okay, maybe he didn't show everything that he has in him.
Mm-hmm.
And same with Jarris, by the way.
I mean, Jarris, I have no doubts he can do all that. Like Jarris, I would not be really confused about at all.
No, I mentioned I was referring to the lack of attacking the basket from a straight line drive and like relying on floaters and stuff like that.
Sure,
we saw that. We don't know if this is everything that he can do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I can definitely see Jarris working with what the Thunder want to do, and working in a way that they want. But yeah, I'm not sure that there's really a player that I would just be like super unhappy that's like in the top 9.
Mm-hmm.
That I would just be like, oh my gosh, I can't believe they drafted that guy. I think like obviously like the top 3, everyone is very interested in. But then like if it was one of the Thompson twins, if it was Whitmore, if it was Jarris or Hendricks or Anthony Black, I'd feel good about any of those guys. I just think all those guys can play. And somebody in that group is not going to be able to play.
Yeah.
They're not going to be able to make it. But
yeah, to be honest with you, I would be extremely scared about Anthony Black. I know, but I would be extremely scared.
It is probably outside of the Thompson twins the riskiest proposition.
Yeah.
In that there's not an immediate plug and play fit with Shea, Giddey, Dort, J-Dub, Chet. It's defensively, yes, it works right away.
Oh, it works. Yes, he can play immediately.
Offensively, he's gonna have to really move. He's gonna have to really move in order for it to work. And if he cuts a lot and he's setting screens, and then yeah, it'll work. But if he's parked in the corner, then it's like, oh boy, here we go.
Yeah.
So there is certainly risk involved, and I'm one that would be willing to take that risk just because I believe in the talent that exists there with him, and then I think Mark and his team would do a really good job with him. And also, it's just he's from Arkansas and he's got great hair.
Yeah. Do you buy? Well, of course, we are both buying probably on what Sam Vicini says about any prospects. But I was like very curious about what he said about Case and Wallace. He said, well, defensive players that are short, they don't necessarily project as long-term NBA players. I said, okay, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Is it true for the lottery, though? In general, yes. Okay. But like Davion Mitchell, he played extremely well in the playoffs.
Yeah.
And he's way shorter than Case and Wallace.
Way shorter.
The shot, I think, projects the same.
Yeah, but he also is probably where do they get him at 9? Or
9.
Is that necessarily the kind of player that you want to get for pick 9?
No, but no. Is he a role player though? I think that 6'1" is tough. You can be a starter at 6'4". At 6'1", you have to be very, very good, which he clearly is not.
Yeah.
6'4". I mean, Lou Dort, he's taller than Lou Dort.
Yeah. And I think just the fact that he was on Kentucky makes him more interesting to me.
Yeah.
Than some guy that was on Baylor for multiple years. He's a one and done.
He's young.
He's 19. There's a lot of things to like about him, certainly.
Yeah, it's not that I'm saying that Vicini is wrong. He's not.
He's pretty well rounded.
Yeah, but like 6'4" is not being small. Yes, you can't guard a Paul George type of guy handily or comfortably. That is true. But in a lot of teams, you need a 6'4", 6'5" guard that can really defend.
Mm-hmm.
I would be perfectly fine with a guy like Hazen.
I would too.
I think we are not discussing him enough. But he is someone that you can play 15 to 20 a night. You can develop him slowly. You can allow him to go in the G League for like a month or two to just like be the man there. If you need him to develop him that way. And he can play immediately. He can be a plug and play player from day one who doesn't necessarily needs the ball in his hand and in his hands, and is just a guy who can just easily fit and easily see working with OKC.
Yeah, I'm a fan.
Yeah.
I'm a fan. I think he could play right away. I think he fits with this team. I would have no issues whatsoever if he was the pick for OKC at 12. I'd be a little surprised just because he's a little bit. He kind of does the same things that Dort does with higher upside as a playmaker.
Yeah,
but I don't know. Would that be the worst thing in the world to duplicate?
Exactly. Like a better shooting, better playmaking Lou Dort, isn't it exactly what you want?
And if Dort goes to the bench, you bring in Kaysen, and whoever it is, you're playing Atlanta on a random Tuesday, and it's like, hey, all night it's going to be Dort or Kaysen.
Yeah. Hey, if Kaysen is a shooter, then you can play both.
Yeah.
For stretches. Like, is that bad? No. No.
Yeah, I like the idea of him for sure. I think that he works in the league.
And like, is he also an insurance for what if you lose Dort, or if you want to move on, or if you like
Lose.
say that Kazon is great and Lou starts to be like, okay, I'm better than 15, 18 minutes a night and 8 shots. I want to do more. And Kazon is just awesome. Is it terrible?
No,
No.
it's not terrible.
But somehow I feel that, yeah, but that seems like too easy. It's almost cheating. Like I want to do something a little bit more juice with a little bit more of uncertainty. Isn't that right?
I'd rather have Buffkin.
Yeah, of course. No, I'm saying both here. But again, by the day, I see that as more of a pipe dream then.
Yeah.
Which,
yeah,
like Buffkin is definitely our victory in terms of draft coverage.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's our biggest win in a long time. Our biggest win since Donovan Mitchell.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We
were both so in on Donovan Mitchell at 20.
So, yeah, the first time we saw him, I said, yeah, maybe he's a little bit too rich at 12. And then when measurements like went through, I said, oh, there's no way. There's just no way he's there. Like, it's okay, done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he's just so clearly better than all of these like Keontae George, Nick Smith, Sensabaugh, that whole group. When we were watching those guys, I was just thinking, man, this draft kind of sucks.
Yeah. Then you see a guy that finishes like 71%. That is still
the rim. Yeah.
Insane. And if you look at the clips, those are not, hey, he's hitting point blank layups. No, it's like changing the pace of the second step in order to fool the defender and making jump earlier so that he can finish, or just extending the second just to finish without like changing direction. Stuff like that where say, oh, he's really getting there with the defender and it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
It's too bad that everyone recognizes that and then it is like super duper great.
What about Derek Lively the second?
I would be not shocked, but really puzzled by the fact that Presti spent an entire press conference basically saying that the best version of the Thunder was a version without a center, and now he knows that OKC will have Chet, that somehow Jang is 6'7", according to sources, and you draft Lively. Sure, that is a great way. That is very like looking light years ahead, because if on exit interview you know that you want Lively and you just like pretend that you are going to like to say, okay, we're great going small, and then you draft that guy as next level stuff.
Yeah.
But by the way, what about this rumor?
I think it's okay to say you'd be surprised. I would be surprised if they took Derek Lively. I'd be surprised if they took a center.
Okay. What about this rumor about Jang being taller?
It's not, I mean, it's a joke.
Okay.
It's like a reference to the Rockets people saying Atari Eason was saying that Şengün was 7 feet now.
Oh, I see. I missed that. I said, okay, this sounds like written in a weird way.
Yeah,
I'm not getting it.
It's a hilarious tweet, and it's a Down to Dunk listener. Gosh, who was it that tweeted it? I can't remember.
I don't remember.
But people are taking it as news when he was just trying to like make a joke.
That was a great joke then, because everyone.
So it's like definitely some high level. The Warner West. He's been. I mean, we've met multiple times. He's been to multiple Down to Dunk events. So the Warner West has everybody. I mean, yeah, he's got like it's 220,000 views on this one tweet.
Yeah,
and it's trolling the Rockets fans is what it's all about. So
That's
even
great.
there's some people that were Thunder reporters that are in there, like, you know what, I saw him yesterday, and
Yeah, it
whatever.
looks taller.
Yeah.
But okay, it doesn't seem the case. But yeah, let me ask Andrew to be sure. Because
I didn't know. I didn't get the joke either. I didn't comment on it on Twitter just for the fact that I didn't know what they were talking about. But
yeah,
turns out he's just trolling Rockets fans. If he was, even if he was, I wouldn't be surprised if he came into camp at 7 feet, just because he was 18 and 6'10".
yeah. I mean, it seems plausible that he's not 7'5". That was actually too
That would
much.
be crazy. That would be
Yeah,
crazy.
that would be like next level craziness. But like to grow a little bit, yeah. And if he's 7 feet tall for a year, like wow, that is. I mean, I think that we are very quickly pivoting from Jang because we didn't see anything from him. There were moments where it was actually good on the court, like
Yeah.
actually producing and defending. Then he completely lost his rhythm, and OKC was totally in a different mold when he came back. Now I'm interested. Tonight I'm just like terribly.
You're also
sponsored.
interesting, but and also interested. That's
Yeah,
right.
it is interesting for me
Yeah.
to see how Jang comes back next season.
Yeah.
From a physical standpoint and from like technical standpoint.
He's basically been in Oklahoma City the entire offseason so far, just working out. So
yeah,
he wants to get better. He's spending his summer trying to get better. It's an important offseason for him, certainly, to make a leap and to be able to play consistently. And if you ask people at the Thunder, and we did multiple times, about him throughout the season, they'll always point to that game that he played against Atlanta, where he was really getting into a groove, and then he broke his wrist, and then it's got him off track. So if he can stay healthy a full season and play somewhere around that level, then you're feeling really good about the trade. If he needs to spend a ton of time with the Blue, still TBD.
Yeah.
You know?
But also, like, even if Poku was great last season good in spots, like the fact that he spent like 2.5 seasons in the G League, that actually told us something.
Mm-hmm.
Like the seating is just different. You don't like Hall of Famers rarely play 2 seasons where like they're just bad, straight up bad.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Okay. We're going to have more content coming at you guys this week with the draft just around the corner. I'll have content from Brooklyn for you guys, which is very exciting. So tune in for that. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. We'll talk to you guys again on Wednesday.